Modern Tales: Age of Invention gets off to a strong start, as a driven engineer witnesses her father being kidnapped by a UFO, while a nefarious murderer looms around in the shadows nearby. She quickly goes from assistant inventor to globe-trotting heroine in just a matter of scenes. Her exploits made all the more impressive by the fact that this is all set at the turn of the 20th century, meaning that her decision to wear trousers while on her adventure borders on the heretical. It's up to the player to navigate through a series of thrilling set pieces and clever puzzles on their way to saving the world from the threat of mad science. But what about the hidden object criteria? Very little. The developers filled the game with explosions, crashing vehicles, and visits to disused locales, all of them providing great justification for piles of random nonsense to be lying around, just waiting to be pawed through. The only real exception is a retired locomotive that's just preposterously messy. But otherwise, the game has a great track record. The item searches are almost entirely fair with no cheating of any kind. The only drawback I can point to is the game's habit of reusing a few items in different screens, including a green umbrella which popped up time and again. It's 50-50 this time. After an opening puzzle in which I was asked to find 12 items that were all relevant to the experiment I was about to help with, I allowed myself to hope that the game was going to be bold and attempt fully justified puzzles, but sadly it wasn't to be. Instead, the game is split between traditional 12:1 screens, silhouette screens, and assembly screens. There are quite a large number of assembly screens actually, and every one of them is extremely well laid out and cleverly drawn. The other hidden object scenes are fine. The silhouettes are notable mostly for having the most detailed outlines I've ever encountered. They're almost black and white pictures of the objects. But the real stars here are the great assembly screens. Extremely well. Modern Tales is yet another stellar narrative from Artifex Mundi. It's broken up into a series of 5 to 8 room areas, with the player motivated to rush between each one as the engineer searches for her missing father and battles a power-hungry madman along the way. It's an unusually upbeat and positive story as well, themed around the power of science to improve people's lives, while also acknowledging that that power can be used to endanger the world if not carefully controlled. The game also takes full advantage of its time period, having the player run into 3 extremely famous people. I'm not going to spoil their identities here though, because each one was a pleasant surprise. The game's challenge level is relatively tame, with puzzles mostly about assembling pictures or rearranging blocks. It's a truly casual experience, with content that can be enjoyed by players of all ages. Just how blasé everyone is when the main character of the science adventure starts wielding a magic staff. There isn't one, so no. Modern Tales: Age of Invention is a strong first title in what I hope becomes a franchise. It's clever, delightfully illustrated, full of good characters and thrilling adventures. It even goes so far as to give the player a concrete reason to track down all the collectible items hidden in each screen. Finding them all gives a glimpse of the sequel's premise in the game's final room. And if the developers at Orchid Games can deliver this quality of hidden object game again, they deserve a chance to have their story's next chapter play out. While far from the most challenging hidden object game out there, Modern Tales is a pleasure to play for the entire 3 to 4 hours it takes to complete. This review was based on a copy of the game provided by the publisher. If you'd like to watch the playthrough which led to this review, swing by the Hidden Object Guru YouTube channel. See you back here for the next review, but until then, au revoir.